Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's discussion is going to be called Do You Sell Yourself Out? What I essentially mean by this is, when you're interacting with people, are you more concerned about their opinion of you? Do you say and do things in an attempt to win favor, whether it's in a relationship, potentially a guy meeting a girl meeting a guy, whether you're making friends? Do you seek this approval even from your own parents? And one of the things that I think we do, and this is something I think that gets ingrained in us at a very young age, is that we tend to try to fit ourselves or form ourselves into what we think another person might want. And unfortunately, this is very damaging to us because we end up living essentially a lie, because we tend to try to form ourselves and change our stories and change our likes and dislikes to fit somebody else. And one of the things that we don't get told when we're doing this is how a person's opinion of you doesn't actually affect how they treat you. Now, this might come as a bit of a shock, and you might be saying, well, no, that's not true, that's not true. But when you really think about it, when you really put it into the right perspective, you start to understand that somebody can initially claim to like you. They can say it right to your face. Oh yeah, I like you, I think you're great, I think you're funny, I think you're smart, I think you're all these things. And yet, you hear stories of them bad mouthing you or talking crap behind your back, and I think that's obviously part of the evidence of it. One in particular situation for me was I was dating this girl who essentially told me near the end of the relationship that basically I was just the worst. I was the worst person ever, and I made her feel all these really unhealthy, unhappy, negative feelings, like just every single one of them, like jealousy, anger, sadness, hurt. Just, I was the worst. And at the time, that was very kind of hurtful for me, because that's not what I was intending, that's not what I wanted. But it wasn't until many years later that I looked back on it and I realized that at the beginning of that very same relationship, there was a lot of obviously different feelings going on. There's a lot of smiling and laughing and obviously compliments and yet what was interesting is that between the two separate opinions throughout the whole relationship, there was a lot of dishonesty and untrustworthy behavior and disrespect, obviously for both sides, because again, wasn't in the right mind space at that time. But it became a constant thing from beginning to end. And what was interesting is that at the latter half, when she was saying that I made her angry and all these other negative feelings, she was definitely lying to me a lot more, and just wasn't willing to be honest and respectful and really deal with the things that needed to be dealt with. And yet in the beginning, she was seeing another guy, dating a guy, and then I became the other guy, and I wasn't told about that right off the hop. Now, while she might claim that while I didn't lie outright, which is true, she wasn't being completely honest either. Now, at the time, and again, this is my own thing where I sold myself out, is I was so worried about making this girl like me. I really wanted her to like me. I thought this was going to make for a better relationship. I was going to, try to be really honest and as honest as I thought I was going to be. And in doing so, I got a little too caught up in some things that really didn't have any real effect over the whole relationship. So I want you guys to understand that when we really are focused on trying to make people see us as something, whatever it is, we're really doing a disservice to ourselves. We really want to learn the key fundamentals, which is honesty, respect, and trustworthiness, which again is just going to come about as each video goes along. And what we have to really understand about people when we're meeting them is you can't not be honest with them. When red flags come about, you have to really make this decision to realize, like, is this the kind of person that I want to have in my life? And if you don't, then you're compromising who you are really meant to be. And it just breeds conflict and drama, and these are all things that we want to remove from our life. I see it all the time. I see people just way too worried about everybody else's opinion, and they don't really realize, especially in terms of relationships, they don't really realize the damage that it causes and the problems kind of breeds, and how even when they're doing it and they get called out for doing it, they get very offended and they get very angry, and they're not really willing to just really understand again that we're selling yourself out, but you're also making a choice to do so. And we want to make better decisions again about who we're talking to, what we're saying, and who we might be getting involved with. So I want you guys to really realize that, again, selling yourself out for somebody else's opinion is just a bad idea. A lot of people make their opinions on you not even based on fact. They'll just make opinions based on their own personal nonsense, what's going on with them. I've been in plenty of situations where somebody's implying things that really aren't true, and generally the people that are implying things that aren't true are really the ones that have a lot more of this dishonesty and disrespect and untrustworthiness going on in their lives. So they look at others to try and convince people that, oh, I'm better than him because look what he's doing, even though I've done those things 100 times. So again, just remember that you got to be happy with you. You got to learn to be happy with the decisions you make. You got to learn to be happy about you in general. And as we start to make better decisions, we start to understand that the confidence in ourselves grow, so that whenever we get into a situation where you're needing to be honest with someone, you have the confidence to do so, and know that any bad reaction really has to do more with what that person is going through and dealing with, rather than what we're going through. So again, just remember, don't sell yourself out. Okay? The only real person you need to live up to is yourself. And many people are going to make up many different stories about you, and those are the people that we don't want around. Those are the people that we don't want to be around. They are the most toxic people, and they just breed nonsense and silliness. So again, I hope you guys found this helpful. Leave any comments down, questions down below, subscribe. Anything is helpful. Negative, positive, doesn't really matter. It's okay, because there's always information, and more information needs to be shared. So I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks.